Hello and welcome back. I wish to continue on what I was talking about in my previous video, which was kind of the reasons why your divine counterpart or you get into a karmic connection after you already met and connected with your divine counterpart. And like I've said in the previous video, if you have seen it, you know this. If you didn't, this is something that I have myself experienced, and a lot of us do experience that. And while in the midst of it, it's difficult to kind of see a way out of it. It's difficult to find the higher perspective, the higher vibrational perspective. And so I felt guided to record and kind of tell you about what has been shown to me, because I really want to help you guys perhaps see the light in the dark when you're in a really deep void and fighting with that, fighting with the programming, fighting with your own core wounds. So it's going to be a continuation of what I have talked about in the previous one, but of course these videos will find you whenever you are meant to listen to them, or when you need them, when you're aligned, and of course can be obviously listened to individually as well. Another reason why one of the twins gets into a karmic relationship is because a karmic relationship, a karmic or situationship, it doesn't have to be a full-on relationship, but a karmic connection, that is romantic connection, that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about work situations or family drama. I'm not talking about financial situation. I'm specifically talking about karmic connections that are of the romantic type. They happen a lot of times because these connections, either for really both twins, because it doesn't matter whether both or one of them is involved in a karmic connection that is of romantic type, is a catalyst for individual growth and healing for really everybody involved, because it's also for the karmic partner there. But that individual growth and healing is crucial for both the individual journeys of the twins, but also for eventual reunion. And here I just want to add that yes, we are all destined and meant to reunite with our twin flame. Some people have kind of a different idea, and of course we all are entitled to and free to believe different things. I'm a strong believer that you kind of see this journey in a different light depending on where you are on that journey. And of course you have the choice, which I also don't really agree, because a free will is just an illusion. With the immense amount of weight that our energetic work carries, I do believe that every single time that there is an illusion for us to make a choice, that choice has already been made by our higher self, by our soul, by our when we were deciding about reincarnating here in the 3D, or when we were volunteered by God to go through certain things. So just wanted to point that out, but still. So yeah, so it's a catalyst for growth and healing for both parties. it does force each twin to really face the things that they didn't want to face in the past, the things that we kind of wanted to forget about, that these things existed within us, that we have carried these things within us, these negative karmic patterns, these negative beliefs, really just wounds, everything. And when our divine partner gets into a karmic relationship after we have connected, it forces us to kind of look at everything that this connection brings out within us. And so there's no running away from it. So it forces us really to look at these things. And it's the same thing for the twin that experiences that karmic connection, that they are in the midst of that connection, because that connection is just a culmination of all the karmic patterns and all the karmic wounds and negative beliefs and social conditioning that that person has been experiencing whole their life here on earth. And of course, what has been carried to this lifetime from previous lifetimes. But it really does force them to look at those things. And if they were to be with their divine counterpart, let's say right away, without the separation, without the karmic connection, the lessons would have to be experienced. They would have to be healed. And despite the fact that this journey is extremely heavy and extremely difficult, and let's not sugarcoat this isn't just walking on roses. It is on some level, but until you get to that level, it really is just hell. But it's never cruel. It's never really, like, no matter how treacherous our journeys are, it is still the path of least pain and least resistance. I just want to say this for anybody that really is in the middle of just really heavy period where you kind of think that everything is against you. It kind of feels like this, but believe me, it could be worse. It could be much more cruel, and it's not, because the source, God, is never going to make you suffer just to suffer. Yes, you will go through suffering, but it's only just about enough suffering, enough pain, enough painful situations and triggering for you to be able to break free from that. So the next reason why karmic connections do interfere in divine connections are karmic debts that either stem from the current lifetime or that we have carried over from the past lives. The karma, the negative karma that we have to go through, that we have to pay, if you will manifest in karmic connections and situations, and they will always have to run their course. I will say that from my experience, I do believe that the karmic situation is, or like a karmic interference, no matter really what it is, whether it's a romantic interference or family patterns or family dynamics, they are there as long as you need and your twin needs to kind of work through things. But those karmic situations, the clearing of karmic debt, you and your twin have to pay for your negative karma, and all of these situations need to play out completely to the T. Again, you will not suffer longer than you need to, but you do have to pay your karmic debt. So some of these karmic connections, there's never just one reason for them manifesting within your divine connection, but they are obviously there for healing, to create space, to force us to look within, really, because maybe probably otherwise, well, obviously we would not otherwise, that's why they're happening. But they must run their course, and they're happening because it's an opportunity for the twins to heal the things within them that are coming up. It's an opportunity to learn from these situations, because at some point when there's a situation playing out, you will get the mental clarity that you need, and you will see the situation for what it is. You will see the pattern within you or the wound, and you will have an opportunity to heal it. You have to address it. And the whole point is for you and your twin to break these karmic cycles, so that none of those situations will ever manifest again, because if you don't, they will keep on coming back until you do break these cycles, and so that they don't manifest in your next lifetime. And here I will say that I actually don't know how it is, because I have heard some things that souls deciding on a twin flame journey do it on their last incarnation, because they have gone through everything else, and this is kind of the last thing to do, or like the last experience to go through. And others don't believe that. I don't know. So I leave you to decide on your own and follow your own guidance and your own heart. I guess I will find out for myself. These karmic situations, there's another reason. A lot of times they are just mirrors to us. So really, whether it's a karmic relationship after you and your twin have met and engaged with each other in any way, really, or before you even come into existence, all the karmic situations are really mirrors for us. They are showing us something within us that must be healed, that must be released, that must be worked through. So specifically in a divine connection, if one of the twins or both of the twins do engage in karmic connections, let's say during separation time, it's a mirror that is meant to mirror, so show the both of the twins or one of the twins that is involved with a karmic energy, specific wounds that are tied to relationship, could be family values, and how family values tie into a romantic connection for you and or your twin. Any kinds of wounds, any kind of insecurities, any kind of fears, any kind of there's one YouTuber, Meredith, shout out to her, that calls it generational rite of passage. So like the generational curses. So these karmic connection will mirror specifically those wounds and those things within you or your twin that have to do with romantic love specifically. And it, of course, you're meant to address them, heal them, release them, unlearn, and so on. And as much as really, while being grounded and healed and in your peace, you're kind of looking at a karmic, or like at the situation where, let's say, your twin flame, your twin has been in a karmic relationship or is, and you're thinking like, well, I understand that it's needed, but it's nothing pleasant to look at, it's nothing that brings me joy. You do have to remember that it's only for your own development. It's only for your own evolvement of your soul, of your mind, of your consciousness. That is the only reason. There's nothing more to it. I'm gonna say something that is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but I really don't care. People have to understand that karmic connections, it's not about that these people are evil, because they're not. Even if they act evil in an evil way, it's not. But all of it is false. Some people I have heard saying that, oh, love is love, and even if it's karmic love, it's love. It's not. It's really not. You have to kind of understand that just as we are healing whatever it is that we choose to heal in this lifetime. I have seen it somewhere online. I wish maybe I will put it up in the video for you guys to see, that you come to a moment where you learn that lust is not attraction, that attention is not care, it's not love. So kind of in that way, when you think about that, oh, you rise, while you are rising your vibration, you notice that attention is not affection, attention is not love, lust, just empty lust, is not attraction, and so on and so forth. Karmic love is not love because it does not come from your heart. Karmic love is a trauma bond. It's a karmic bond, really. Well, yeah, obviously, but it's trauma bond. It's your wounds resonating with somebody else's wounds, but not to get together and enjoy life. It is to get together to kind of be hit with the realization that, oh God, these things are happening and they feel horrible. I should do something with it. And then once you do that realization, once you realize that, oh, there is that thing within me, I should heal it. Once you take steps to heal it, that karmic connection, it's going to dissipate. It's going to vibrate out of your life. So it is not love. But either way, but it's also good. I found it very helpful because I was extremely hurt because my twin has been involved and really still is in a karmic connection, and there have been other third parties involved, which I found absolutely unforgettable too, but unforgivable. And I have been struggling with kind of working through it, because to me, in my personal journey, it kind of isn't just one thing. It's kind of it cannot just be one thing. It's kind of everything at the same time, and it was. And now I'm smiling about this because this is silly. This is what my soul chose. And sometimes I shake my head at my own self for choosing to experience that. But here I am. But it's wonderful. It's going to be great. But yeah, so you have to kind of remember that there is like no need to blame these karmic partners. Looking back at your own past, your own experiences with karmic partners, it's not about that they were, even if the relationships were bad, again, I'm talking about romantic connections here, even if the relationships were really bad, they were only there to teach you something, to help you learn something, to help you heal something within you. And that is exactly what it is. And no matter how picture perfect those connections do appear in the 3D, they are just an illusion. Just as before we are awakened, before we heal, we think that just what I mentioned, that attention is not affection, lust is not an attraction. These kind of things, it's there's a clear distinction, but that distinction, the difference you see, comes only after you have risen above that. Until then, you kind of are living their illusion. We all do believe that love feels in a certain way, and it's not. And it's kind of silly looking back, looking at like your own past and thinking like, wow, did I really think that this was a genuine connection, or did I really think that this person cared for me? Obviously not. Well, they did and they didn't. Of course, it was just a karmic lesson. That was the whole point, for them to treat me in a certain way, and for me to experience certain things so that I could learn, so that I could heal this part within me that allowed me, or that made me allow people to treat me this way. So, yes, so the next reason for a third-party interference, well, not interference, but a third-party connection within your divine connection is that by engaging with the third party, and by getting into a relationship with a third party, that twin will be forced to realize what they truly want, need, and fear, thereby gaining clarity about their feelings towards their divine counterpart and what they want and don't want in their life, in their relationships. To me, this one is kind of very much obvious, because in our wounding, a lot of times we kind of believe that, oh, it looks like my twin is living this perfect life. Maybe they're married, maybe they are having, or they maybe have children, or maybe one of them is getting pregnant, all of these things. We kind of think that, oh, it must be perfect. But I will ask you to please look back on your own experiences with your karmic partners and really how horrible they have been. And it's not that it all has been horrible. I'm not saying that it's a mistake having kids with your karmic partner from the past, because it's not, because obviously it is God-given. The kids are God-given. You are always meant to have kids with a karmic partner if you do have kids with a karmic partner. So it wasn't a mistake, but it is good for us that are are experiencing what I am experiencing. So my twin, I'm a divine feminine, and I do not, I never chose to get involved with any kind of karmic partner since I met my twin, and actually since many years before that. So I've been consciously single because I got extremely hurt in my last karmic connection before, and that was years before I met my twin. But after, for me, meeting my own self in another body, and me finally, for the first time in all of my years on earth, meeting someone that feels like home to me, I just never since then had any kind of interest for anybody else. Nobody, no matter the face, the body, the intelligence, the humor, or whatever else that I may find attractive in people, none of it just compares. It's just, it's such a big difference, and it's such a sacred bond for me. So for me, I don't have any kind of third parties interference on my side. I am extremely faithful. I'm like fiercely loyal. I heard it somewhere, and I do like this, but I am, and I know that quite a few divine feminines are kind of in the same situation, where they do stay faithful to the divine, to their divine counterpart, whether they are together with them or not, or even whether they end up together with them or not at any point in time. And that is for me. And then my divine masculine did need a karmic partner and other karmic feminines, for him to kind of dig himself out of the huge karmic pile that he has taken upon himself in this lifetime. And from what I understand, most of, if not all, divine masculines are in the same boat. They take upon themselves such an incredible amount of wounds, and they have a lot more things to work through than we feminines do. I'm not saying that they work harder. I'm not saying that we feminines work harder. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they are usually absolutely buried underneath a mountain of karmic patterns and addictions and negative beliefs and all of these things than we do. And of course, the thing is, we both are, both twins in each connection work as hard, and they heal as much, because we are one being with our twin. So if no divine counterpart can come and say like, oh, I work harder than my counterpart, because it's not true. If you're working really hard, then your divine counterpart is working also really, really hard. And when you, whoever it is that I'm speaking to, whether it's the divine masculine or divine feminine, if you got to a point where you know that you have healed everything that it is to heal within you, you will continue healing the things that are left to be healed within your twin. That is how it works. So the work doesn't stop. That is really important. Nobody's better, nobody's worse. It's not a competition, it's a teamwork, but you always work as hard. These karmic connections, a lot of times, despite seeming picture perfect or like dreamy, they will a lot of times mirror what kind of life you wish to have with your twin too. This is kind of what I have experienced. This is kind of what I have seen. But it's going to be extremely toxic, because it's meant to, because it needs to be. The last karmic relationship that each twin has before they reunite and have a reunion and ground their connection in the 3D, or the masculine does, the last karmic connection is going to be extremely toxic. No matter how the twin makes it look like online, no matter what you see, no matter what is actually happening, a lot of time it's just for show, because the connection itself, it's so toxic that the people involved in that connection, whether it's the karmic partner, the karmic energy, or your twin, they will want to kind of compensate a lot of times for their own sake as well, and make it look like it's much better than it really is, because of the toxicity, because of the level of pain that they experience in that karmic connection. Because that karmic connection, it's not meant to work out, it's not meant to be nice and pleasant and joyful. It's meant to drag the worst out of people. So the worst out of the twin that is involved in a third party, and maybe you, if you are also involved in with a karmic partner. That is the whole point. And it does help. It did help me, and I think that I can imagine that it's gonna help you guys too. If you're sitting there and kind of looking at your twin doing all the things that maybe you want them to do with you, and seeing how your twin is doing certain things for the karmic partner, doing things with the karmic partner, bringing gifts, doing things for, investing into. These are all the things that you want to, because it's meant to trigger you, but it's not what it looks like. It is really just a trauma bond. It is really just toxic. And it is kind of low vibrational to say it, like, oh, hey, focus on how bad that relationship is. But I'm not saying it because it is low vibrational, but because it actually helps to wake yourself up from the illusion. Because a lot of times our energetic work, and here I think that I'm speaking for both counterparts, that our energetic work, even if we're making quantum leaps at the point in time, whether it's a small growth or a really big one, it doesn't always translate into the 3D right away. It doesn't. It never does. It takes time for things to shift. And quite a few times you will have to go through through the same lesson over and over before that lesson stops manifesting. Because, well, some people call it that the universe is testing you. It kind of is. So God is testing you. You're being exposed to the same trigger, to the same wound within you, and it's all about how you react to it. So for me, when I was in a very bad place, healing something really horrible within me, that what I thought, and I kind of believed that this was something that was absolutely insurmountable, that it was so big that I will never be able to let it go. I will never be able to live with myself and with my twin, that I will never be able to kind of heal it within me. Of course I am. But that kind of helped me to kind of like shake myself awake and remind myself, do not believe the illusion. First of all, the illusion, the 3D has not caught up to your progress. That's a first. And the second, it is just there because it's meant to kind of continue trigger you and make it a little harder, because the work that you're doing here on earth is extremely important and it's not easy. So obviously things are not just going to be easy for you. So that's what I'm saying. Take it as you wish. I just want to help. I just want to share with you guys what has helped me. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna stop here, and I'm gonna take the rest in another video. So I hope I'll see you there. If not, I am sending you a lot of love and light, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.